The Strategic Survey is an annual review of world affairs from the International Institute for Strategic Studies. It's seen as an invaluable tool for interpreting worldwide strategic developments. Recent events in Georgia feature in the survey, which concludes that extending NATO membership to that country and the Ukraine would be a mistake.
Europeans have a strong case to argue that it is in NATO's strategic interest to pause its enlargement policy. While Russia has no veto on NATO membership, mere possession of a perceived threat is equally no automatic ticket to entry. Europe will want to invite the US to think strategically, not nostalgically, about the weight it wishes to attach to NATO enlargement in its regional policy. Georgia has weakened its case for NATO membership. It openly defied its main strategic patron, the United States, by seeking to recover its lost territories, taking on a declared Russian interest without the ability to do so alone, and then calling on the West to sort out the mess it created. Small allies pay a tax to larger strategic guarantors.
The ongoing situation in Iraq also continues to dominate events.
The handing over of the command of US forces in Iraq this week brings to a close a very successful tour of duty for General David Petraeus. Petraeus presided over a decline in civil strife that saw the monthly tally for violent deaths fall from its peak of 3,500 Iraqi civilians killed in January 2007 to 550 in July 2008. Violence has reduced in Anbar province, once the epicenter of the insurgency, to such an extent that responsibility for its security could be handed over to the Iraqi army and police force at the beginning of September. However, both Petraeus and his successor, Odierno, have been very cautious about the sustainability of these security gains. The reasons for this pessimism are to be found in the lack of comparable progress in Iraqi politics.
The survey also predicts, with the United States now being preoccupied with its up-and-coming presidential election, there is a scope for other nations to take the lead in international affairs.
It is a technique that avoids the worst outcomes. These are the sort of stopgaps. The next few months will see many preoccupied with the outcome of the US election. However much America's individual share of global power has been in relative decline, it remains the case that it is the swing geopolitical player, the one that by its actions or inactions can have the most impact on the comity of nations and the stability of the international system as a whole. We are now entering an era, as Strategic Survey notes, where international diplomatic activity will be more plural. America is unable now to shape the international agenda alone and needs international partners. Those prospective partners in Europe, the Middle East, Asia, or elsewhere need to be more assertive in developing initiatives which the US can comfortably join, rather than merely react to proposals that may come from Washington. The quality of those initiatives will determine whether the post-unipolar moment will be more or less good for international peace and security.
Since 1966, the Strategic Survey has provided an essential analysis of the year's key events in international relations for government, policymakers, journalists, business leaders and academics.